What could investigators really be looking for in President Trump's testimony with the former special counsel Mueller?
Oh, so this is the question about whether or not he potentially lied. Okay, so let's remember that what happened in the Mueller investigation is that on behalf of President Trump, his lawyers submitted written answers. So immediately you have the problem about whether or not President Trump can be said to have legally adopted those answers. It is possible that President Trump can simply say, "Well, my lawyers made a mistake when they answered." When they provided those answers. So that's sort of the first line of defense. There were some statements that President Trump made during the Mueller investigation where he appeared to adopt his lawyers' answers, so that might sort of take that defense away. But the next layer you get into is much of the denial about campaign contacts with WikiLeaks and his discussions about WikiLeaks were predicated upon, "I do not recall." So in a live interview as a former prosecutor, you'd follow up and you'd say, well, you don't recall because it didn't happen, or maybe it did happen and you just don't remember. Those are two different possibilities.
So if it is found that the president was not truthful, now could that lead to articles of impeachment?
It potentially could, but I think these defenses would make sort of for an uphill battle here.
All right. All right, looking ahead, more impeachment hearings this week. One of the key witnesses testifying on Tuesday will be Kurt Volker. He's the former special envoy to the Ukraine with the State Department. So we learned from his private testimony that Ukrainian officials pushed really hard for a meeting. So what can we expect? Because he has largely defended President Trump in his actions. What kind of questions could lawmakers really kind of throw at Volker?
Right. So on the Democratic side, I think what they'll want to do, because he is one of the individuals who had contact or looks like he had contact directly with President Trump. There was a phone call between Mr. Volker, Ambassador Volker, and one of President Zelensky's close aides, Yermak, about 30 minutes before the July 25th call. And at that point, there was a text, and he said, "I heard from the White House, assuming President Zelensky convinces President Trump he will investigate and get to the bottom of what happened in 2016. We will nail down a date for this visit that the Ukrainians wanted very much." So it looks like there's that conditionality over the meeting. Questions Democrats will ask is, did President Trump, when he talked about what happened in 2016, was this directly the Clinton investigation, the Burisma investigation, the investigations that would benefit President Trump personally, and did Ambassador Volker hear this directly from President Trump?
Also, a lot of people, especially Democrats, have been using the term bribery in describing this case. Is that an appropriate charge?
Yeah. Look, the Constitution itself sets out the conditions or the substantive requirement for finding impeachment, and it's treason, bribery, or high crimes and misdemeanors. So so bribery is one of the specific types of misconduct that can lead to impeachment. And that nowadays it's defined as an exchange of an official act for something of value. Here it would be releasing the aid, the White House meeting in exchange for something of personal benefit to President Trump.
All right, another key witness that everybody is wanting to see this week will be U.S. Ambassador to the EU, which is Gordon Sondland. Your thoughts? A lot of people, including you, were saying that he could possibly plead the fifth. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So we just saw Roger Stone get convicted, among other things, of lying to Congress. Anytime you raise your right hand and swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in a federal proceeding, it is very serious. You need to do exactly that. And we already know that Ambassador Sondland has had to correct his testimony. He claims to have now recalled what appears to be a very important conversation on September 1, again in Warsaw with Mr. Yermak, again discussing conditionality about the investigation and the aid. And so I would expect that the Democrats are going to want to get exactly what he remembers. And because he's had to, correct his testimony, to the extent that he intentionally withheld information the first time, that's a crime.
How crucial is his strategy, though, for the Republicans? Because a lot of his sort of linchpin, he's sort of the linchpin, a lot of people are saying.
Right. So if I were his lawyer, I'm a defense lawyer now, and if I were his lawyer, I would tell him that this isn't about Republican strategy or Democratic strategy. Your obligation when you raise your hand and swear is to tell the truth. And the truth is, the truth is his shield here. And so he shouldn't be trying to shade his testimony to help the Republicans or help President Trump or help the Democrats or hurt the Democrats. He should be, to the best of his ability, testifying about the truth as he knows it.
Keir, we thank you for your perspective.
Thank you.
CBSN will have wall-to-wall coverage of the impeachment hearings this week. It kicks off Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. There will also be special live editions of Red and Blue on Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can also go to cbsnews.com/hearings for the very latest.